Don't ignore this psalm, not because today is different, but because today feels exactly the same. The same waking up, the same thoughts, the same tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep, the same hours passing quietly without asking permission. This psalm is for the days that seem equal, the days that blur into each other, the days when nothing terrible happens. But nothing truly changes either. If you've been living inside repetition, if time feels heavy instead of hopeful, if you look back and wonder how weeks, months, even years pass so fast, this psalm is for you. Psalm 90 was not written for moments of excitement. It was written for moments of awareness, for the realization that life moves forward whether we are ready or not. It speaks to the human experience of watching time pass, of feeling small inside the calendar, of realizing that days can repeat while the soul quietly grows tired. This psalm is not rushed, and neither are we going to rush. Take a slow breath. Let the noise of urgency fade for a moment. There is nothing you need to prove here, nothing you need to fix immediately. Just stay, because the days that seem the same are not meaningless. They are forming you, even when you can't feel it. Many people think exhaustion only comes from suffering, but repetition can be just as heavy. Doing the right things, showing up, continuing without visible reward. That is where Psalm 90 lives, not in celebration, not in victory, but in awareness. It reminds us that time is passing and asks us what we're doing inside that time. This psalm does not shame you for feeling tired. It acknowledges that human life is fragile, brief, limited, and yet meaningful. This psalm is for the quiet question you don't say out loud. Is this all there is? If you've asked that even once, this psalm is for you, not to frighten you, but to realign you, because when days seem the same, we stop noticing what matters. We move on autopilot. We survive instead of living. Psalm 90 interrupts that pattern gently. It does not shout. It does not rush. It invites reflection. Before we read it, understand this. This is not a psalm for motivation. It is a psalm for perspective. A psalm for those who feel time slipping through their hands. For those who are faithful but tired, present but emotionally distant, alive, but wonder where the days went. If your life feels repetitive right now, if you feel stuck inside a loop, if every day feels like a copy of the one before, this psalm is not here to accuse you. It is here to anchor you, because awareness is the beginning of renewal. Stay with me. We're going to read Psalm 90 slowly, with space to breathe, with room for the words to settle, not to escape your life, but to see it more clearly. And as we read, remember this truth. Even days that look the same are never spiritually empty. There is a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from pain. It comes from repetition, from waking up and already knowing how the day will feel, from moving through hours that don't surprise you anymore, from doing what needs to be done again and again and again. Nothing is wrong. And that's what makes it hard to explain. You're not in crisis. You're not broken. You're not falling apart. You're just tired of days that seem the same. Modern life teaches us to measure everything by productivity, but Psalm 90 measures life by awareness, because when days repeat, we stop counting time, and start enduring it. Weeks pass quietly. Months blend together. Seasons change almost unnoticed. And one day, you look back and realize you've been present, but not fully awake. This psalm speaks directly to that moment. It was written by someone who understood the weight of time, someone who watched generations rise and fall, someone who knew how fast life moves, even when days feel slow. Psalm 90 reminds us of a truth we often avoid. Time is passing whether we feel ready or not, and that awareness can feel uncomfortable, especially when life feels repetitive, when progress feels invisible, when prayers feel unanswered, not because God is distant, but because nothing dramatic is happening. This is where many people silently struggle. They believe faith is supposed to feel intense, victorious, emotional, but Psalm 90 speaks to faith that feels quiet, steady, almost unnoticed, faith that survives routine. If you've been faithful in ordinary days, if you kept going without applause, if you prayed even when nothing changed, this psalm sees you. It acknowledges how fragile human life feels inside long routines, how easy it is to lose perspective when days seem identical. The psalm doesn't shame us for this. It simply brings us back to reality. It reminds us that our days are limited, not to frighten us, but to wake us up gently. Because when days feel endless, we forget they are actually numbered. Psalm 90 does something rare. It holds two truths at the same time. Life is brief, and life matters. Our time is short, and our time is meaningful. That tension is uncomfortable, but it is also sacred. If you felt disconnected from time, if you felt like you're living on pause, if every day feels like a quiet loop, this psalm invites you to stop running from that feeling, to look at it, to sit with it, to let it teach you something. Because repetition is not punishment, it is formation. The days that seem the same are shaping your patience, your endurance, your depth, but only if you become aware of them. Psalm 90 is not a psalm of escape. It is a psalm of grounding. It doesn't promise quick change. It offers clarity, and clarity is powerful. In the next moments, we will read Psalm 90 slowly, not as ancient poetry, but as a mirror for modern life. Let the words settle. Let them breathe. This psalm is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to see more. Because even days that feel identical are never spiritually empty. Now we read, not quickly, not to finish, but to feel. Psalm 90. Take a slow breath. Let the words come to you, not as something to analyze, but as something to receive. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Pause here, before your routine, before your exhaustion, before your questions. God was already present. Long before your days began to feel the same, He was a place of refuge. Not a moment, not a feeling, a dwelling place, a place you live, even when life feels repetitive. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world. From everlasting to everlasting you are God. Let that sink in before your calendar, before your schedule, before your tired mornings. God existed outside time, which means your life is not trapped inside repetition. Even when it feels that way, you turn people back to dust, saying, "Return to dust, you mortals." This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to remind you, life is fragile. Life is temporary, not meaningless, but precious, because what is limited matters deeply. 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. If your days seem the same, this verse reframes everything. Time feels slow to us, heavy, repetitive, but to God, time moves differently, which means your waiting is not wasted. Yet you sweep people away in the sleep of death. They are like the new grass of the morning. In the morning it springs up new, but by evening it is dry and withered. This speaks to how quickly life passes, not to create fear, but awareness. Days repeat, yet years disappear, and suddenly we wonder where the time went. Psalm 90 gives language to that feeling. We are consumed by your anger and terrified by your indignation. This is not about punishment. It is about the weight of reality, the seriousness of life, the truth that time is not casual. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your presence. Even the unnoticed days are seen, even the quiet struggles, even the faithfulness no one applauds. Nothing is invisible to God. All our days pass away under your wrath. We finish our years with a moan. This is exhaustion spoken honestly, not dramatic, not poetic, just real. Life can feel heavy, especially when days seem the same. Our days may come to 70 years, or 80 if our strength endures. Yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass and we fly away. This verse is sobering, not depressing. It reminds us time is not endless, which means these days, even repetitive ones, matter more than we think. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. This is the center of Psalm 90. Not teach us to escape routine, not teach us to be busy, but teach us to be aware, because wisdom begins when we stop living on autopilot. Relent, Lord. How long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. This is not a demand. It is a tired prayer, a prayer whispered inside long routines. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Not excitement, satisfaction, enough grace for ordinary mornings, enough presence for repetitive days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many years as we have seen trouble. This is balance. Joy does not erase routine. It redeems it. May your deeds be shown to your servants, your splendor to their children. What you do in quiet days echoes beyond you. May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Even repetitive work can be established by God. Even unseen faithfulness can last. Take another slow breath. This psalm does not rush you. It simply reminds you your days are passing, but they are not empty. Psalm 90 is not ancient wisdom locked in the past. It is painfully modern, because nothing defines modern life more than losing awareness of time. We wake up already thinking about what's next. We scroll, we respond, we repeat. Days move fast, yet feel identical, and slowly, without noticing, we stop being present inside our own lives. Psalm 90 interrupts this pattern, not by demanding change, but by restoring awareness. When the psalm says, "Teach us to number our days," it is not asking us to count time. It is asking us to notice it. Modern anxiety often comes not from danger, but from disconnection, from living inside routine, without reflection, from surviving days, instead of inhabiting them. If your days seem the same, Psalm 90 does not tell you to escape. It tells you to anchor, because awareness turns repetition into formation. Think about your mornings, not the dramatic ones, the ordinary ones, the same alarm, the same thoughts, the same quiet heaviness. Psalm 90 teaches us to invite God into those moments, not to change them immediately, but to sanctify them. When the psalm asks God to satisfy us in the morning, it speaks directly to modern exhaustion, not excitement, not adrenaline, satisfaction, enough presence to face another ordinary day. This is powerful because most people burn out, not from tragedy, but from monotony, from days that seem the same. Psalm 90 reframes this. It reminds us that routine is not the enemy of faith. Unawareness is. If you feel anxious without knowing why, if you feel restless inside stability, if your life looks fine but feels empty, this psalm is speaking to you. It tells you that your time matters, that your days are numbered, not to frighten you, but to focus you. Because when time feels endless, we procrastinate meaning. We delay gratitude. We postpone joy. We wait for someday. Psalm 90 pulls meaning into today. Even if today looks like yesterday, especially if it does. The psalm also speaks to work. Establish the work of our hands. In a world obsessed with outcomes, this verse offers relief. It tells us that faithfulness matters, even when results are invisible, even when progress feels slow, even when days repeat. God can establish work that feels ordinary. He can breathe meaning into tasks no one applauds. This is deeply comforting for those living quiet lives, for parents, for caregivers, for workers behind the scenes, for anyone showing up daily without recognition. Psalm 90 honors you. It tells you that repetition does not erase significance, it deepens it. And finally, Psalm 90 speaks to decisions. When days feel the same, we delay choices. We stay on autopilot, but awareness changes that. Numbering your days does not mean rushing life. It means living intentionally, asking better questions. Not, how do I escape this routine? But, how do I live fully inside it? Because God is not absent from ordinary days. He dwells there. And when you become aware of time, you begin to live differently, more gently, more honestly, more present. This is the quiet power of Psalm 90. Take a slow breath again. Nothing needs to change right now. This moment is not about fixing your life. It is about being present inside it. Because when days seem the same, we often believe we are standing still. But Psalm 90 reminds us that time is still moving. And movement does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like endurance. Sometimes it looks like faithfulness. Sometimes it looks like showing up when nothing feels new. If your days seem equal, you are not wasting your life. You are living it quietly, steadily, one breath at a time. Psalm 90 teaches us to return to awareness again and again, to notice the morning, to notice the evening, to notice ourselves inside time. The repetition is not meant to trap you. It is meant to form you. And this is why we return to the same truth. This psalm is for the days that seem the same, for mornings that arrive without excitement, for nights that close without closure, for weeks that blend together. God is present in those spaces. He is not waiting for your life to become extraordinary. He is already dwelling inside it. If you are tired of rushing, this psalm invites you to slow down. If you are tired of waiting, this psalm invites you to become aware, because awareness changes everything. When you number your days, you stop postponing meaning. You stop waiting for a different season to be grateful. You stop believing that life begins somewhere else. Life is happening now, even here, especially here. Psalm 90 does not promise change tomorrow. It promises presence today. Enough grace for this morning. Enough strength for this routine. Enough meaning for this ordinary day. If you are listening and thinking, nothing about my life stands out, hear this. Ordinary days are where faith grows roots. Deep, invisible, strong, and roots matter more than moments. So we return again. This psalm is for the days that seem the same, for the quiet persistence, for the unnoticed obedience, for the faith that keeps breathing, even when nothing changes. Stay here. Let this truth repeat gently. Your life is not passing you by. You are inside it, and your days, even the repetitive ones, are not empty. If this psalm spoke to you, if your days feel repetitive right now, if life has felt quiet but heavy, you are not alone. You can leave a simple comment below, still here, or share how this season feels for you. Sometimes naming it is the first step toward awareness. You don't need to move on yet. There is nothing to rush. This space was made for staying, because when days seem the same, the soul needs repetition, not stimulation. Psalm 90 understands this. That is why its words feel steady, not dramatic. They return us to the same awareness. Again and again, your life is unfolding. Even when it feels paused, time is moving. Even when nothing feels new, and God is present. Even when everything feels quiet. This is important to hear more than once, because repetition can convince us that nothing is happening. But Psalm 90 gently corrects that belief. It reminds us that growth often happens below the surface, unnoticed, uncelebrated, silent, just like roots. If you are listening late at night, if today felt like yesterday, if tomorrow already feels predictable, let this truth settle. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing your life. You are inside it. Psalm 90 does not ask you to escape this season. It asks you to become present in it, to stop fighting the rhythm and start listening to it, because even repetitive days carry meaning. They teach patience. They deepen faith. They form endurance, and endurance is quiet strength. When the psalm says, teach us to number our days, it is inviting us to wake up gently, not with fear, not with urgency, but with awareness. Awareness turns waiting into wisdom. Awareness turns routine into formation. Awareness turns ordinary time into sacred space. So we return again. This psalm is for the days that seem the same, for the steady breathing, for the long nights, for the unremarkable mornings. God is not absent from those moments. He is dwelling there, and you don't need to feel inspired. For that to be true, you don't need clarity. You don't need answers. Presence is enough. If your mind keeps looping, if your thoughts keep returning, let them rest here. Nothing is demanded of you. This psalm is not pushing you forward. It is holding you steady. And sometimes that is exactly what the soul needs. Stay as long as you need. The words will still be here. The presence will still be here. Because repetition, when held gently, becomes rest. There is nothing more you need to hear right now. Nothing to add, nothing to explain. Just this quiet reminder, your days matter. Even the ones that feel the same. Especially the ones that feel the same. Psalm 90 does not leave us with urgency. It leaves us with awareness. It reminds us that time is passing, not to create fear, but to invite presence. Because presence is what turns days from repetition into meaning. If your life feels ordinary, if nothing about today stood out, if the season feels quiet, steady, repetitive, you are not wasting your time. You are living inside it. God is not waiting for a different version of your life to dwell with you. He is already here, in the routine, in the silence, in the same morning returning again. This psalm is for the days that seem the same, for the patience it takes to keep going, for the faith that breathes quietly, for the strength that doesn't announce itself. And now, there is no need to close anything. You can let the words fade naturally. You can let the silence settle. You can let the loop begin again. Because sometimes the soul needs to hear the same truth more than once. So if this video starts again, let it. There is no rush. Just stay.